Okay, Cream Puffs, the unspeakable has happened. Carmilla is over. The series, anyway. For now. Thankfully, we still have a movie to look forward to, which was an insane surprise to say the least. If you haven't pre-ordered yet, link is in the description. Do it! The money from all of our purchases comes together to help make the budget for the production. So, let's all get together and help make the movie we want to see. Spread the word. Gift it to someone. Buy it for yourself. Give what you can and get it out there. Now, you all may remember a video I did recently where I discussed my 13 theories regarding Carmilla Season 3. If you haven't seen it, you can click right here. Now, I did this video before the premiere of Act 1 with all of my thoughts and theories and predictions and questions I had concerning Season 3 and the end of the show as a whole. Now that it's over, I thought I'd address the thoughts and theories to see just how accurate I really was. With some of them, I was spot on, but with others, I was like in a totally different zip code. So here's my Carmilla Season 3 theories update, and this should go without saying, but obvious spoilers. We all knew that Danny was going to fight Carmilla. What I did not expect was that Danny would get the jump on her. Fucking twice in a row.
You've gone and forgotten who can rip out whose spleen in this equation.
Yeah, that would be me.
The obvious.
The obvious Fangster brains.
I don't care if she is taller than Carmilla. She is way younger, like what, 2 months old, and should not in any way be stronger than Carmilla is. The show's made that pretty clear.
Can you do that? Maddie's a lot older than me.
When's the last time you've seen a 2-month-old kick someone's ass?
You gotta stop it right now. You stop. You stop it. You stop it. You stop it.
Scared of a fair fight.
Says the girl who sucker choked her opponent. So forgetting Danny's sneak attacks and cheap shots, let's address the actual fight. At the end of episode 23, Danny grabs Carmilla from behind, and in the following episode, Carm sparks a 6-way fight between her, Danny, Theo, Maddie, Laura, and Nadine. And I'll admit, when first watching the scene, it's kind of hard to choose who you want to watch. Nadine finally proving that she's a Sith Lord, or Carmilla and Danny finally throwing punches. Danny seems to be obviously stronger, while Carmilla is way more agile, easily getting out of a move straight from Xenia on top's arsenal. And the fight seems pretty evenly matched until the library interferes and helps Carmilla and Laura escape. So Carmilla and the library, 1. The Dean and her goons, 0. I was also pretty spot on with this one. From the very beginning, Danny was nothing like her old self, even going so far as to call her human self weak, and demonstrating that her newfound hatred came from the fact that she believed that nobody mourned her at all when she died.
D-Bear? I cared that you were dead. I could see how much you wanted everybody to be, like, safe. And Laura totally cried. You were like her hero.
It was sad to see that she felt this way, with Laura, Kirsch, and even Carmilla sympathizing and trying to reach out to her.
The longer you let Mother twist you into her tool, the more you'll have to regret. And trust me, eternity's a long time to live with it.
Thankfully, we see in Act 3 that the loving old Danny Lawrence is still there, as she brings Kirsch to the safety of the gang and the library in order to protect him from the biggest danger around him, herself. Her final monologue about him and his consistent loyalty is passionate and heartbreaking.
The people I bled and died to save forgot about me the second I died. And all I wanted was to burn down every stupid, self-sacrificing thing I'd ever done for them. Except there was Kirsch. Still believing in me, even when I hated him and hurt him. He doesn't deserve any of this.
And we all can't help but hope that she somehow was able to reclaim her identity after she escaped from the Dean. I don't know about you guys, but not knowing what happens to Danny leaves me feeling pretty empty inside. She's a character that's always been so close to my heart, so I really hate the cliffhangery ending, but I like to hope that she's gotten away and made something of herself. Called it. I called that shit so early on. I knew that Sherman Hollis would be the coolest dad ever, and I also predicted that he not only was okay with Laura being gay, but he'd already known.
Do you remember what I said to you when you told me you were a lesbian?
Thank God you finally said it.
After that.
Better find a girl who deserves you.
Yes! That!
I figured he'd be a pretty cool guy to have Laura as his daughter. In a way, I was kind of right with this theory. Olaf was definitely cooking up something before blasting into the pit with a homemade flashbang and a flying squirrel suit like a motherfucking boss.
On the other hand, we can give this outdated mythical crap a 21st century upgrade.
Despite the fact that their plan didn't quite go to spec, and they acted pretty selfishly by trying to save Perry's mind and body without thinking of the possible consequences this could have concerning the safety of the rest of their friends, and that they destroyed the Blade of Hoster.
The sword was our only chance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt your plan to kill my friend?
She is actively in the process of ending the world.
What's Armageddon compared to the long overdue rescue of your BFF?
And they lost an eye.
Or maybe it's a lack of vision. That's the real problem here.
They successfully injected 3 of the 4 talismans into the Dean's body and was able to buy Laura and Carmilla precious time and information regarding the liar's heart.
Our clever little friend did just fine with the grave robbing. Problem is the talisman has to reside inside a living heart.
If Lav hadn't done what they did, if they hadn't risked everything by exposing and possibly sacrificing themselves and personally attacking the Dean, our other heroes wouldn't have found out the truth about the 4th talisman until it was beyond too late.
But maybe it's not too late to give you back what they took. To set you free.
Also, I was pretty spot on with my guess that the gang had been in the library for about 2 months.
For tracking purposes, it is the 78th day of my involuntary expedition to the Silas University Library.
I was actually surprised to see not as many people died as I thought would end up dying in this season. I mean, technically Laura did die, but she was successfully resurrected a few minutes later. Also, according to Twitter, Laura's dad returned at the end with the authorities like he said he was going to, so we know that Sherman's okay too. So let's check the main character status, shall we? Laura died, but came back.
Don't take this the wrong way or anything, but why am I not dead?
Carmilla sort of did the opposite. Perry, perfectly fine for some strange reason.
Oh, hey Hirsch.
Laugh, maimed, but otherwise okay.
I'm choosing to see this as an opportunity for a laser eye. You know I've always wanted a laser eye.
You're so strange.
Danny, undead, but okay.
Hey, Xena. Just try not to get any deader, okay? You too, Fang Face.
Mel,
You know, I really hate you guys.
angry as always, but fine. Kirsch, miraculously okay considering how much blood he must have cumulatively lost over the past 2 months.
Hey, I've been chained to a wall and chronically under-burritoed for months. I've missed like a ton of forearm days.
Sherman, confirmed to be okay. And even the Dean was absolved and set free. In regards to bloodshed, not a very bad ending. 2 characters were actually redeemed. I was expecting maybe 3 or 4 people to come out of this alive. The only deaths I can technically think of are Laura, Maddie, JP, Professor Cochran, and the other students killed by the Dean's actions, which is not a minimal number by any means. Quite a substantial amount of people died, but out of the main character cast, only a small few. I assumed that Danny killed Theo when she escaped because she had been wanting to kill the guy for the longest time. He did kill her, but when Laura said that they pretty much stunned the Zetas with the device her dad had made her, I'm kind of convinced that he probably was just knocked out.
Those Zetas aren't permanently deaf.
Freaking slime ball, I kind of wanted him to die, but whatever. Lastly, I have to admit that I find Maddie's status in the afterlife quite saddening. I loved her character and I hated that she wasn't really coming back.
See you around, sis.
Okay, I know it was a stretch, but I did admit that I accepted the fact that this was most likely not going to happen. So, I'm not really surprised. Silas University had way more important shit going on than to concern itself with trying to recreate an episode of Glee. I was genuinely surprised to not see this year mentioned, really. I thought it would have more meaning and significance in this season, but it seems that the context surrounding 1904 really climaxed in significance in the last season. I guess there really wasn't much more to tell us in regards to this. And then some. Maddie knows all. A freaking understatement. Maddie definitely showed that she knew way more than she wanted or technically could share.
I'm the shape of a hand in a puddle. Here and then gone.
She foreshadowed death and destruction very early on in the season.
I couldn't interest you in a rematch. A game with a little more gravitas, with a prize a little closer to your heart. It's a much harder game to win, with a prize much more worth having.
And that would be...
Oh, Laura, No.
Just for us to see that what she cryptically hinted at early on held a deadly weight at the end. However, this wasn't Maddie who technically knew everything. She was a mediator for a death goddess and technically just a messenger.
Carm dies unless we magically come up with some plan to stop the Dean without killing her, which is impossible without all 4 talismans, which we don't have. You couldn't have mentioned this sooner.
Oh, she could have. But that would have spoiled Boss Lady's endgame.
Also unrelated, but Sophia Walker freaking killed it with the creepy talk and the chilling timbre of impending doom. Come on, guys. This was so obvious. However, I did not expect the writers to be as generous as they were. I mean, come on, we had consistent angst, sexual tension, 2 kisses, and the sex scene in the first act alone. Never thought I'd find desperate kissing and lusty sexual undertones so entertaining. More so by the end, we had tense heart-to-hearts, romantic dancing, and a death and resurrection scene that was just shattering. The final shot of Laura and Carmilla running off into a beautifully happy unknown gave me so much closure. And then, seeing that they are not only alive, but still together, 5 years later, in the movie trailer, just cements that satisfaction. I know we often throw on the term OTP, but Laura and Carmilla have the evolution, compromise, and love that true relationships really have that we don't see often in media, gay or straight. I mean, they'll always be my one true pairing. Boy, was I fucking wrong about this. I was so wrong that the fact that the exact polar opposite happened completely demolished my heart. The moment I heard Carmilla's heart beat again for the first time in 3 centuries, I cried for half an hour straight afterwards. We rarely ever see vampires receive any sort of redemption or absolution, and when we do, they either find it through God or through death. In a way, the same happened here, but in reverse. Seeing Carmilla receive her innocence back from the woman who stole it made me so happy it broke my heart.
I cannot return her to you, but at least I can save you from suffering as I did once.
Does that make sense? Again, called it, but can't take too much credit for figuring out this theory because the trailer clearly showed multiple camera angles. The entire climax of the show is filmed by Kirsch on what I assume is either a phone or a camera. The new point of view was so refreshing and had us on the edge of our seats since we didn't really know what to expect. It felt like we were actually in the theater watching a play with actors who, in real life, for the most part, all acted in theater. And because of this, it kind of felt like we were watching them all acting in their element, you know? Knowing that the movie will most likely be shot this way as well, since the trailer was shot that way, is so exciting. I was genuinely surprised to not hear about the anglerfish's blood being referenced at all in season 3. I thought after the dramatic building up of the consequences of drinking it, that the actual consequences would coincide.
Are you still all non-avatary and stuff?
So far.
However, I didn't see any changes to Carmilla in regards to drinking the blood, and Maddie didn't live long enough for us to see the true effect it had on her.
Turns out, god blood really packs a wallop.
Maybe they did hint about it in season 3 and it just flew over my head, but I don't know. If you guys caught anything about it, let me know in the comments below. After everything JP went through in order to help the gang in this season, I felt like a bit of an asshole with my he was Will all along theory. I was still initially convinced about my theory about JP and was even kind of leery about his broadcast in the beginning.
Chains, wires, pain, but you need to listen.
I almost stopped believing he was Will once Maddie said that Will was with her in the afterlife.
Maddie's here, but so sweet Sarah Jane and naughty William.
But she also said that Mircalla Karnstein was there too, even though we all know that she is undead and well.
And Mircalla Karnstein, 18 and so excited for her very first ball. I've never had a friend. Shall I find one now?
However, JP was a pivotal player in this deadly game of chess. He gave intel on what the Dean was doing, foreshadowed the 5th seal and hell on Earth, and worked with the library to help teleport Laura to an alternate dimension to get what they believed was the 4th talisman. Sadly, the Dean found out he was spying on her and fed him false intel, gaining her access to the library, and when she was forced back out, she killed him, Enki's high priest, in place of Carmilla as her high priestess in order to open the 6th seal.
You've given yourself away, Enki. You don't have the power to have done this alone. You still have the high priest. And if I can't use Carmilla to open the 6th seal, then we'll just have to see if that meddling little clerk of yours will do, won't we?
However, I can't help but formulate a new possible theory. What if the Dean tapped into JP's connection with the library in order to spy on our heroes? I mean, I can't think of any other reason why the Dean would be one step ahead of them every single time.
How would she have even found out? But how could she possibly know?
Does it matter?
They decide to look for the talismans. The library avoids an attack from her.
Yeah, I think maybe your mom figured out what you were up to.
Then they find the Book of Lives, and bam, she kills Professor Cochrane literally minutes later.
Wily as our bookish friend is, there's only so much of space and time to hide in, and doing something momentous, say, opening an ancient book full of powerful prophecies, why, that might just be like shooting up a flare.
You're bluffing. If that were true, you'd be here already.
Maybe it's entertaining to think of you and your little powder puff grappling with real prophecy.
And there she is telling us cryptically that she used JP in order to formulate her story about her moment of weakness and possible exorcism.
Well, once we figured out that the library thought poor Mr. Armitage could spy on me, that hardly seemed like an opportunity to pass up.
I mean, this is all just a theory. These could all just be coincidental instances, but what if they weren't? There was so much mystery surrounding JP this season, and because of it, I don't really have much closure. We have no idea where he was the whole time, how he was still tapped into the library, or how he died. And I feel so much guilt for being so suspicious of him the entire time. He was a really great guy, utterly brilliant, and I'm gonna miss him. Now to address my questions. Number 1, if the gang couldn't physically leave Silas after trying multiple times, how the hell did Papa Hollis get on campus and find Laura? I mean, it's apparent how Papa Hollis found the gang. He explained it in full detail. To hear it all again, click here for episode 9. Number 2, where did they get this killer wardrobe? I mean, it's pretty apparent to me that Enki, aka the library, provided the heroes everything they needed this season. This included occasional treats and protecting them when they were just moments away from death, and giving them what I assume were amazing clothes. Who knew an ancient Sumerian god had such great taste? This is like a 3-part question. How did the Dean survive the Blade of Hoster? Her immortality allowed her to survive, even though her body did not. She's a god. How did she do any of her shit? She's a god. Is she a necromancer of some sort? She's a god. Did the Dean purposefully reanimate Maddie or no? If not, whose side is Maddie on? The Dean didn't reanimate Maddie. Maddie was just a messenger for Arishka Girl, the Dean's sister. Lastly, when did Perry become the Dean? It's pretty apparent that the possession happened soon after the final battle at the end of season 1. The Dean made it pretty clear that she needed new accommodations, but when she took Perry's body exactly can be disputed. Many believe it happened immediately after the battle, whereas the gang seem to think it happened
right from the moment she walked in here dripping blood.
Meaning the night the newspaper kids were killed. I personally agree that she was possessed pretty soon after the battle at the end of season 1. Maybe not immediately, but pretty soon after. And finally, with regards to the movie, I find that any of my theories or questions that haven't been answered are still fair game, since we have absolutely no idea what the film is going to be about. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and keeping up with my commentary on Carmilla. You can expect a lot more videos coming out soon about fun facts of the series, things you didn't know, that kind of thing. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.